What you're about to see is a collection of real footage. The internet is full of moments that make you stop, stare, and wonder what you just watched. We put together some of the most disturbing, outrageous, and unforgettable clips that you will find. Nonetheless, viewer discretion is advised.
Time travel, baby. An update on the time traveler?
On TikTok?
Yeah.
Remind me.
Okay, remember that young guy walked into the shed?
Oh, came out old.
Some people took a picture of the old man that walked out. They did like a reverse image search of him, and this man popped up. His name is Stephen Albert Miller. I looked up his LinkedIn. Nothing crazy. Graduate of Harvard University, and he ran a website page called nukewatch.org. He had done different questions in it asking about time travel, different dimensions, where he like posted just like really random obscure pictures. It almost seems like cryptic. Yeah, and that was posted in 2009. But then he has an obituary to where he died in 2018. It's weird. So it could not be him, or it's probably not, more than likely.
It's just weird that this dude is on the internet with history, going through all these weird things, and then he becomes accused of being a time traveler against his will.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Learning stuff new every day.
It most likely is a lookalike, but this one just checks all the boxes: blurry timelines, strange websites, and that eerie what if vibe. Whether it's a coincidence or something deeper, it's wild how fast stories like this just snowball online. And honestly, the fact that people are reverse image searching an old man is both impressive and terrifying at the same time. But what do you think? Clever edit, mistaken identity, or did we just catch a time traveler? What you're watching is real CCTV footage from Batangas, a province in the Philippines currently shaken by a wave of kidnappings. This particular clip captures a chilling moment, a victim being targeted and taken in broad daylight. No warning, no time to react, just gone. The rise in these abductions has sparked fear across the region, with residents not fearing for their safety even in their own neighborhoods. Unfortunately, the man was later found dead in a city nearby.
Not one, but 2 moon trains are being funded now. NASA plans to build a levitating robot train on the moon, not to mention the underground railroad system that's in the works. They say this will minimize the lunar footprint. I only know of one footprint on the moon. Does the moon have a climate crisis now with no atmosphere? But let me get this straight. You can't figure out Artemis 2 and 3 because of safety reasons? You can't figure out how to get a 4-man crew to the moon, but you want an underground railroad system where you would have to send a 6,000-ton boring machine there? Not to mention the rails and the train cars and the size of the crew? Don't get too excited, guys. You're not going to the moon. Every president since I've been alive has been telling us we're going back to the moon. The lunar lander weighed 16 tons, and you want me to believe you're sending an entire train to the moon? Each train car is like 80 to 150 tons. Wait, both trains are projected to be underground? Are they both supposed to levitate too? Let's say you're an investor that invested in a vehicle company, and that company comes up to you and asks you for more money on the investment to make the cars fly as well. And then you ask them, well, can you show me it drive first? And they can't even show you that. Would you give them more money to make those cars that they can't even figure out how to drive to fly? You destroyed this technology. It's a painful process to build it back. Apparently, because if you can't figure this out to get these people there, then why do you expect us to believe you can do this? Get out of here!
The idea of building trains on the moon honestly sounds more like science fiction than something that we're ready for. We haven't even completed a crewed mission back to the moon in over 50 years. So jumping straight to infrastructures like rail systems, especially ones that require massive machines and materials to be sent into space, just doesn't add up right now. We're skipping over basic steps and heading straight into overly complex ideas without solving the core problem first. Until we can safely and consistently send humans to the moon and back, it seems a bit premature to talk about building full-scale transportation systems up there. But more importantly, what do you think?
How does this guy have all these bones? Like, this is crazy. What is this place? What an amazing, fortunate find. You have found evidence of human beings, right? What's that one bone that has a human face carved into it?
That one there was found on a tailing pile.
That looks a lot like the Shroud of Turin, by the way.
Yeah,
Doesn't it? That's Jesus.
Paleontologists told us that that was natural.
What? Paleontologists told you that's natural.
Natural, and I look at it.
What? Come, cut the cheeks, nose, mouth, eyes.
And I posted that, Joe, and about half the comments were, learn how to take a picture, would you?
Yeah, right?
The only thing in focus is your pickup truck.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah.
I'm a boner.
Yeah, that does not look even remotely natural. Has that been carbon dated?
No, this is the one that I carbon dated.
So let's talk about that. These sawed bones, now you have carbon dated them, and they're to when?
You're not going to believe this, because we got all excited when we found them.
Yeah.
They're 190 years.
Have any academics reached out to you after the podcast?
Finding bones like this is already very unusual, but when one appears to have a human face carved into it, it crosses something even stranger. Whether it's actually ancient art, erosion that just happens to look like a face, or something else entirely, it's not hard to see why people are divided. Carbon dating one of the pieces gave an age of just 190 years, which rules out anything prehistoric, but that doesn't make it any less bizarre. What's really surprising is how few academic voices have actually looked into this. For now, it's just speculation and debate, but discoveries like this show how easily mystery can mix with skepticism.
Whoa! Holy shit!
Did you get that?
Fuck yeah, I'm videoing it. What the fuck?
I think that might be a gas station or something.
Fuck yeah, it's a guess. Whoa!
Whoa!
Oh! What the? Holy shit! No fucking way! Oh shit! Oh shit! No, baby! No!
Nice! Are we dangerous here?
Yeah, we're dangerous. Oh my god! Oh dear!
Go! Are you filming?
Yes, I'm filming!
This happened in China 2015 and is known as one of the most powerful explosions ever filmed in an urban area. It started with a fire at a warehouse storing dangerous chemicals, and what followed was a series of massive detonations. The second one was so powerful that it registered a 2.9 magnitude earthquake. The shockwave shattered windows kilometers away, flipped cars, and lit up the night sky like a war zone. Over 170 people lost their lives, including dozens of firefighters. The incident raised questions about safety regulations, chemical storage practices, and how such dangerous materials ended up in such densely populated areas. It's a chilling reminder of how quickly things can spiral out of control and how fragile even modern cities can be when disaster strikes.
Guys, I've been going into a little deep dive, and this brought me to the uncanny valley. Why do things like this creep people out? Or any of these images? Well, to put it super simply, the uncanny valley is as things become more lifelike or more human-like, they hit this threshold where it becomes super creepy. That threshold, that valley is called the uncanny valley. So I've been going throughout the internet finding images that are, within that threshold. When I tell you I was not prepared for what I found, oh my. I saw this image and I was like, that has to be AI, because it's weird. Again, if you don't want nightmares, do not keep watching this video. Because that image was real, and it was made by an artist named Kate Clark, and she does human-like taxidermy. She puts human-like faces on these animals. Look at... I feel so uneasy right now. Look at that. What? You can find what museums it's displayed at. Like, I cannot. Am I overreacting, or is this so freaking... This creeps me out.
The worst part is how your brain keeps trying to make sense of it, like it's searching for something familiar in something that's completely off. And that's what makes the uncanny valley so effective. It plays with your instincts, not your logic. It's not gore, it's not loud, but somehow it still manages to be one of the most disturbing things you'll see today.
You guys want to hear this crazy story about a bear attack? Gene Rowe, November 1st, 1999. He was hunting for deer on Kodiak Island in Alaska. Finally killed a deer, and while he's field dressing it, you heard growling behind him.
Uh-oh.
And he turned around around, and it was a 10-foot tall bear weighing 1,400 pounds. So before he could even react, this bear came over and bit his arm, almost ripped it off. But while it was biting him, he kicked the bear in the throat, and the bear stumbled back. He remembered he had a knife on him. He pulled out the knife, and then he slashed the bear's throat, and the bear went down, and then he stabbed the bear in the vertebrae. He said at that moment, he just prayed to God. He's like, God, whatever you have to do, please save me, get me out of this. The story goes that they were literally circling each other. He had so much adrenaline in him. He said with all of his strength, they charged at each other, and he punched this bear as hard as he could in the mouth, so hard that it said that he broke every single bone in his hand and fingers, but it knocked the bear out.
No, it did not.
He knocked the bear out, and then he ran over and grabbed his gun and shot it. And they have his knife in a museum on display.
That's sick.
Wow, way to go, Gene Rowe.
That's a good
He
job.
knocked a bear out.
That's one of those stories that sounds made up until you realize that the guy's actual knife is sitting in a museum. There's something primal about it. Man versus beast, but pushed to an insane extreme. The fact that he survived with just a knife and adrenaline, that's not just luck, that's raw survival instinct. It makes you wonder what you would do if you came face to face with something like that and only had seconds to react. Let me know in the comments.
If you needed further proof that we live on the remains of a much larger past, and that geology is nothing more than hardened biology, let's take a look at where a trendy and popular ingredient you might have in your cabinet came from: Himalayan salt. You tell me what these caves look like. Let's take a look at some of that salt taken out of these mines and collected into a pile. Now, do those not look like slabs of meat or what? Here's a closer picture of one. How about now? If pork ribs aren't your cut of choice, don't worry. There's many other cuts to choose from here. In the right conditions, after a great flood-like event, buried and covered in sediment, these petrified beings became the new mountains and hillsides of this realm. If you aren't convinced, let's do a few more side-by-sides. You got rock and meat. One of my favorites, you got bacon, and you got bacon rock. History is nothing more than a set of lies agreed upon, and the same goes for most all of academia. The truth is in the hillsides and in the mountains, hidden in plain sight. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
Here is where it gets weird. You look at those salt caves and they don't just look like rocks, they look like something that used to be alive. The more you look, the more it starts to mess with your head. What if geology is just ancient biology? What if Earth wasn't just built on the past but built from it? You won't find it in a textbook, but once you see it, it's very hard to unsee.
Could the geocentric model be God's sacred algorithmic birthing clock? Is it a coincidence that the seed of life pattern looks like a luminary path? What about this seed of life, the spark of light when the human egg gets fertilized? The Antikythera mechanism, the geocentric astronomical calculator, coincidentally reminds me of a cipher, a decoder, along with the astrology wheel. The Flat Earth Clock app is set up like a clock. God set those lights in the sky to serve as sacred times, signs, days, and years. And coincidentally, the clock in Prague shows where the sun or the moon would be in the constellations. And we all know that the sun and moon represents the masculine and the feminine. This is even biblical. So where the sun and moon were in the constellations during your time of birth would determine where your masculine and feminine traits come from. I don't have any feminine traits, dude. I'm a man. Dude, you cried during Old Yeller. Shut up. Let's all be honest. We've looked up our star chart to find crazy similarities with our personality traits and what the astrological signs say. So, if God is the amazing creator that he is, which he is, then wouldn't he depict our personalities based on where we were born in time rather than geographic location? So depending on where the sun and the moon are in these constellations would depend my personality traits. So as this astronomical clock keeps turning, we are born in places in time and our personality traits just so happen to match up perfectly astrologically. Isn't that a coincidence? Our creator's magnificent clock, his decoder. I was born during an eclipse. The sun and moon were both in Pisces. Then I find out people that were born during eclipses, they have unique talents, abilities, or perspectives. They may have a special purpose or mission in life. All humility and humbleness. That feels like me. But that's not the only thing that feels like me. I looked into my entire star chart, and where these sun and moon and all these luminaries were positioned, it comes out exactly my personality. So what if God would have set up his algorithm geographically? Like all the people here would be Sagittarius, all the people here would be Pisces, all the people here would be Capricorn, so on and so forth. Don't you think there'd be wars? If the personality differences were so vast, continent to continent, they'd be trying to blow each other up. But if God set up the algorithm on when you would be born in time, in season, then people would be born all over geographically with different personality traits. I know there's a lot of stigma behind astrology and it's demonic and all this stuff, but look, let's be honest. Who set these things here for signs and times and sacred moments? This is God's clock, and we live on it, and we are all parts of him. God sits above the circle of this earth, and if you think about Enoch, it talks about all the multiple layers of heaven. So what if it is like clocks and gears and portals, and as they turn, your souls are being crafted by the Creator, and as these things turn, it opens up that section, that portal where God sends your spirit down. You hit your mother's womb with that spark of light. Now you're here to live your purpose.
The symbolism and connection drawn here are definitely creative, and there's something undeniably fascinating about the idea that we're born in a specific season for a reason. That time, not place, shapes who we are. It's not a new thought, but this kind of framing, combining faith, geometry, astrology, and cosmic symbolism, makes it feel more mystical. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the takeaway here isn't about proving a flat earth or turning astrology into doctrine, but just that everything in life from your birth to your being could be part of something bigger, something designed. Nonetheless, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.